1:37 ahead of Pico on the Yamaha and fellow Honda rider Gilles Lelay. There was a huge change to the route in 1989 as the Dakar made its first foray into Libya and Tunisia. Never a dull moment, the Dakar got off to a bumpy start for Arie Vatanen, spectacularly rolling his 4:05 in the prologue. Fortunately, little damage to the car. He still finished that prologue 7th. Peder Hansel led the bike class. Entering the Tenere Desert was still a delicate and treacherous affair. You had to be constantly aware of the other competitors around you, always dangerous over the top of those dunes. That's why you put your helmets on the top of the dune if you stop there. Well, the Savannah, by comparison, was an even easier affair, and it came down to the two 4:05s from the same team to battle for the race lead overall. Perhaps the competition was higher than ever. All pleasantries were disposed of, and the gloves were off as Vatanen and X pushed their cars to the absolute limit. The other Peugeot drivers also found their limits. On the bikes, it was also a two-horse race between Lelay and the newcomer Peder Hansel. Again, the level was very high. Peder Hansel was the first to make a mistake though. Coming into service with a damaged bike. And he wanted to know who had arrived first. He was told Morales. Well, the fall for Peder Hansel helped Lelay, though he suffered problems himself on the various surfaces. Suspension the main difficulty on the big track. Too many bumps, he said. I crashed. Well, despite the truck tragedy that marred this edition of the Dakar, the racing lived up to the usual high standards. All that was left was the final speed down the beach. A bottle of champagne for Lelay and a glass of milk for Vatanen. Well, not content with the challenges of Libya, the organisers took the decision in 1990 to pop into Chad for 2 days. For the first time, the African legs began in Libya, coming in through Tripoli. Well, also for the first time, an Italian won the bike section, riding an Italian bike nonetheless, in the shape of Eddie Orioli on board the Cagiva Elephant, a bike that had improved in all areas over the 89 model in a much stronger yet more user-friendly engine. And while being serenaded at the bivouac, Jackie X took the time to take a quick massage while he could. It was almost like being on holiday. And Vatanen spared us a few words. Good day for us. At the beginning, Bruno Sabi was a little bit sick, felt really bad. Maybe the food from last night, I don't know. Might have driven a bit too fast as well. I did kiss a tree along the way, he says. Well, the brief tussle with the shrubbery didn't seem to slow Arie Vatanen down in any way. disaster though for Peder Hansel. He ran out of petrol in the middle of Mauritania, said goodbye to the rally for that year. Well, this rally toyed with many of the competitors, forced out in the dunes, as many of them were. One of the most memorable Dakar images ever, teammates circling each other like caged lions at the pass of the Nega. They were the lucky ones, others were still struggling in the sand. I think it's the most difficult thing so far in the Dakar, all of the rallies so far included. It's been the most difficult stage ever, said Jackie X. Finish was in sight for most, however, and at the shores of the Lac Rose, Orioli was crowned champion, and there was a Peugeot 123 led by Vatnen. We'll have more for you after this break. The 13th edition of the Dakar was as tough on driver, rider and machines as ever. But the problems of the leaders and the trials of the privateers are part of Dakar legend. Without it, what would the Dakar be?
Coming up.
Physically, he says, I'm dead. Well, the spirit of the Dakar is timeless, but the equipment evolves at a pace. The gap between the leaders and the rest of the pack was growing as the major manufacturers employed more and more prototype equipment that had little or no relationship to road-going cars. As far as the bikes were concerned, they still retained a close link with production machinery. Well, it doesn't matter what you've got, sometimes having the best just isn't enough, as Jackie X found out when his Citroën burnt to ashes. Once more, there were only two teams that could win it, the Works Mitsubishis and the Works Citroëns, but the key to this victory would be down to the navigation of the co-drivers. It was the same for the bikes, but being alone, it meant that sometimes it was good to have a chat with the others heading in the same direction. Once more, the rally's toughest test occurred near the Nega Pass in Mauritania. This time, though, they approached it from the other direction. The first car through was one of the Works Citroëns. Well, from the starting point of view, this Dakar was outstanding. We said it would be very hard, and it was very hard. And when you look at the general rankings of the cars, we have 5 marathon cars in the top 15. The same for the bikes. Well, after a final trip across the savannah, it was Vatnen who took the victory in the cars and, as usual, enjoyed a cold glass of milk on the podium. Kisses and champagne it was for Peder Hansel from his wife Corinne, as he took the first of 6 victories on 2 wheels. For 1992, it wasn't the Paris-Dakar, it was Paris to Cape Town. And with the change of countries and conditions came the determination of Mitsubishi to overturn the domination of Citroën. And another hoping to break the stranglehold on the rally by the manufacturers was a certain Jean-Louis Schlesser in a rather fetching pink two-wheel drive buggy. Problem being, no co-pilot to rely on to navigate. Peter Hansel had to contend with the cadgivers snapping at his exhaust pipes. For Mitsubishi, the hard work paid off as they took the first 3 places overall. Well, not only clearing the way, but also an impromptu commentary it was. Peter Hansel was safely in the lead on the bikes. Single track roads in Central Africa meant there was little or no overtaking as a result. Yes, the rally lost some of its character that had been so prevalent in the desert. Nothing much changed in the standings, but this rally offered up a change in conditions for the competitors to Cape Town. Some of the roads were later described as being too easy. Can you believe that? Yes, easy sometimes, but not always. Well, perhaps it was a bit boring for some. They had to make their own entertainment. Mi cantar se vuelve gitano cuando es para ti. Mi cantor hecho de fantasía. Mi cantor de melancolía que yo te tengo amor. Well, despite the apparent ease, it was still possible to get lost, and Oriol was still pushing as he rolled once, but kept the lead over Erwin Weber of America.
There was a very difficult junction, and Hubert took the wrong. He was also taking for 2 kilometers the wrong road. We turned and then we found the right way. So I don't know how long he's searching.
It looked very German to me. In the last few days, Oriol was under pressure, but providing he had no mechanical troubles, he would make it to the Cape with his lead intact. Peter Hansel made it 2 in a row. At sad times, once more they were. Gilles Lelay, it was, that died in a freak accident with a medical vehicle on the liaison of stage 16. Once again, the toll, reminding us just how dangerous it is out there.